We continue on Daybreak Live about 14 minutes before the hour. Jared and Jacob from Marble City Pharmacy join us this morning. I don't know where the intro went. We didn't have an intro. You guys, you slacking a little bit. What's the problem?
You know, we had some good music.
I just wasn't ready. I feel like the camera hit me before I was ready.
I'm trying to read your notes right here, and it takes me a while.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, but welcome you both to the show this morning. The COVID vaccine, it seemed to be more and more available now. What's going on with that?
Yeah, absolutely. We got quite a bit. The health department sent us some more. So we're working on another round of first doses. This is a little bit more than our expertise, I guess, but we now have a scheduler on our website. So Mr. IT here set this up for us. It's working fantastic though. So you can go to our website, which is marblecitypharmacy.com. You can choose your date and time to get that first dose. We do still have Moderna. Want to make that clear. It is a 2-dose vaccine, same one we've had since the very beginning. But yes, in addition to us, there are other places doing it. It has become more available. I think we're going to have plenty enough supply to meet the demand.
How many vaccines have we given out so far, you think?
Like we're well over 1,000. I don't know the exact number, but we're nowhere in the the hospitals. Somewhere in that 10,000 type range. So we're nowhere at that. We don't have 650 employees either, but we're doing good for what we've got. But we're well over 1,000.
Yeah, and the vaccine continues. We're still doing the first vaccines right now. Is that right?
Yeah. Right now we're doing a round of first doses, and we're giving patients a 4 weeks out date to return. So basically 28 days after the first dose. We got 2 more weeks in this first round, then we'll start another second round, and on and on and on.
Yeah. COVID vaccine, and we're well over a year now with the pandemic, and a lot of people said during the past year that everything that had to do with anything was considered COVID. Well, we do have seasonal allergies, and we don't want to confuse that with COVID-19 for sure, but they are seasonal allergies that we have to deal with.
Yeah, right now in the state of Alabama, if something's wrong with you, chances are it's seasonal allergies. You can take everything else off the list almost at this point. That's where we stand at the moment.
But the seasonal allergies, I'm assuming that it would be this yellow and green stuff that's floating around in the air too.
Yeah, that's right. Some people like myself, well, Jacob too, have allergies year round, and so sometimes we have allergies to things like roaches or pet dander or mold or dust, and those things, of course, happen at any time. But then seasonal allergies, you're right. It's right now. This is the reason your car is yellow or green or whatever color that the stuff is. The plants and the trees are reproducing right now, and they're blooming, and so that makes the pollen, and the pollen is doing it. And so in Alabama, this season starts as early as usually March or sometime and goes for a really long time. So you got your trees, you got your grasses, you got your weeds, all those things, and making life miserable for a lot of people right now.
But Jacob, it's not the flu.
No, it is not the flu. It's not a contagious element. It's not a virus. It's not a bacteria. It's not anything. It happens when 2 trees love each other very much and they go into reproductive phase, and we get all this pollen.
Could you expand on that?
I'm good with that. I thought that was plenty. Probably more. See, this is what happens. This is a
live show, by the way, guys.
Never work with family. No, it's unavoidable, but you're not passing it to somebody else. It's the trees passing it to you. You're not passing it to anybody else. But, you're not going to get some of your seasonal hallmarks, you're not going to get some of your flu hallmarks. You're not going to get the fever and the body aches and the chills and I'm hurting and miserable from my head to my toe. You're not getting that. You're getting things that and we'll talk about these in a minute, more that we associate with seasonal allergies.
Well, Jared, it makes you feel very, very yucky, to say the least, so.
Oh, yeah, sure. In fact, you can just check out these little bags under my eyes right now. After you've had allergy symptoms for days, weeks in a row, you can get kind of a worn down, worn out feeling, including this right here, right? But what you see usually is you get your runny nose, you get your sneezing, you get your itching and watery eyes. You guys know it because if you live in Alabama, you've probably experienced it. And to differentiate, like Jacob said, you don't have your fever, you don't have your body aches, right? Sometimes you can get a slight cough from the drainage, but it's nothing like the cough that you might get from the common cold or such.
Plenty of treatments for this, though, right?
Yes, lots of treatments. You know, what we always want people to ask with any disease first. You know, granted, we're pill pushers, we're pharmacists, but we don't necessarily want that to be the first answer for every. I need a pill. Give me a pill. Let's, you know. So I want everybody with every condition we talk about in here, no matter what it is, the first question to be: is there something I can do that's not a pill to make this go away? Unfortunately, the things to prevent seasonal allergies in Alabama are generally impractical. There are things like never leave your house. Wear a hazmat suit. Basically cover
up. Do you
up.
pay him to say stuff like this?
I do.
Yeah.
Never. I think he's overpaid.
Don't ever go outside in the mornings because that's when pollens are the worst. All these things. Well, when it's 95 degrees, morning's about the only time you can get out of your house in Alabama during the summer. And so all these things are relatively impractical for us if you want to have any form of normal existence. And so while I always want people to get accustomed to start with, is there something other than a pill I can do? In this case, if you suffer from seasonal allergies, if you're one of those that they really get to, there's not a lot you can do other than resort to medications, unfortunately in this case.
Does it affect old and young or not so young? Oh yeah, we're literally talking about everybody. Sometimes I'm glad you said that because I didn't think to add this, but generally kids that are less than 2 years old, you're not talking about a situation for allergy. You have to have time to develop this over a period of months. And so, but yeah, when you start talking about age 2 and above, it can literally affect anybody and does. The one recommendation that's not drugs that I like is delegate your yard work to somebody else. I'm all for that one, okay? Sorry, kids, I've got allergies. You got to go cut the grass.
Yeah, that's right. Why we have children.
That's right.
That's why our dad had us.
That's right. No doubt.
Oh, wow. Hey, what about, we talked about staying away from the pills, but, there's some over-the-counter medication that you can take to help you out a little bit.
On the unfortunate side, as I mentioned, you pretty much have to resort to medications if you suffer from seasonal allergies. On the fortunate side, you can treat them over the counter. For something to be over the counter, basically the FDA has to decide not only that the drug is relatively safe, but also the condition you're trying to treat is relatively self-diagnosable. You can figure out what's wrong with you and take something yourself for it to be over the counter. And in this case, both of those things are true. So, over-the-counter medications, you've got what would be your classic allergy medications, which are antihistamines. And obviously, you're going to lean heavy on those if you're suffering from seasonal allergies, your chlortrimetons, your Benadryls, your, plain antihistamines. Then your newer ones, your Zyrtex, Allegras, Claritins, all those. When you start developing the congestion later from it, obviously you've got a lot of decongestants, your Sudafed type products and Sudafed PEs. Those are your mainstays. There are nasal sprays over the counter. There's just plain saline nasal sprays to help clear the stuff out. There's decongestant nasal sprays that we'll talk more about in a minute and some limitations with those to help just clear congestion real quick, especially when I'm trying to sleep at night and can't breathe. That's when I usually return to those. There are steroid nasal sprays that are now over the counter. Flonase, Nasacort, all those that used to be prescription only that in our same segment we'll return to in just a second. Anyway, all these are available, and more often than not, you can get all these in one, combination type product. So that's where people get confused. Well, these are all, 50 different products. Well, honestly, they're pretty much combinations of the same 2 or 3 products, just packaged different ways and different strengths. But that's why I always say, come ask one of us. We can point you to the right product for your symptoms. But everything you need is out there.
Jared?
Well, sometimes I will say this. A lot of times, one of these medications won't do it. When a person is suffering from allergies, looking for a recommendation, we're always going to start with an antihistamine. When you're looking at those antihistamines, that can get confusing. Jacob just named 5 or 6 of them that are out there on the shelf. So, first of all, I like to tell people this. The most effective treatment for allergies, antihistamine-wise, is your Benadryl and its generic form, diphenhydramine. The problem is that most people can't take that during the day and stay awake. I certainly can't. In fact, a lot of people use it on purpose at night to sleep, right? So it's certainly effective for allergy symptoms, but makes you sleepy. So generally, you may have to move on to another one, try to get something that's effective during the daytime and doesn't literally put you to sleep. But a lot of times, just an antihistamine doesn't get the job done. Like Jacob said, there's the Sudafed that you can add when you have the sinus congestion. But like myself, I'm on an antihistamine. I am on a steroid nasal spray that's there to reduce inflammation right in the nasal cavity. And then I'm on a prescription drug. I mean, I got like the trinity of allergy products, and even still some days that's not enough. So just understand that you may have to have drugs from multiple different families in order to control this, depending on how bad your symptoms are.
Wow. You talked about tongue-in-cheek a little bit earlier, Jacob, about how to prevent these type allergies, and you know, you got a family pet. I mean, family loves a pet, and it's beautiful and does all the right thing, except that develops allergies for families sometimes.
It can be a problem, and so when we talk about prevention for seasonal allergies, here's what we largely mean, because we're not going to throw our pet out the window. More than likely, some days, I won't finish that sentence. We're not going to lock ourselves inside and we're not going to wear hazmat suits. So what can make our kids mow the grass? But what we talk about when we mean prevention of seasonal allergies, what I'm generally referring to is going to be taking something every day before my nose starts pouring and my eyes start pouring and all that. For instance, your drugs that some of them I mentioned, your Claritin, your one-a-day type, your Claritin, your Zyrtec, Allegra, that family of antihistamines, your one-a-day non-drowsy type antihistamines. Those are generally good. Take them every day, especially if you know you have a specific season of the year that gets to your specific allergies. Mine's year-round, so's his. We take one a day every day to help prevent these occurrences from happening. Unfortunately, then when you get to that time of year, when you're pouring out of every hole in your face, those aren't strong enough to do the job. But for prevention, those types of things, your one-a-day allergy medicines, your steroid nasal sprays, like he mentioned, that reduce inflammation. So, I'm going to clarify this. People want to come in and go, I was out yesterday, working in the field, in the yard. I came, bush hogging. I came in and now I can't breathe anything. So let me go grab my steroid Flonase nasal spray off your shelf. No, that's not how it works. You'll be wanting that for 2 more weeks and it's not going to be doing any good for a while. Those things are great for prevention of problems. I know I have this problem. Let me start early taking a one-a-day allergy pill and a steroid nasal spray and prevent the extreme allergy symptoms, weeks from now. But taking them today isn't going to change my world if I'm already dealing with that problem. So when we mention prevention, that's primarily we're talking about taking medicines to prevent the worst of it.
Yeah. Before we go this morning, noted that both of you guys deal with allergies. Is it hereditary?
That's actually a pretty good question. I think the answer to that is yes.
Yes.
You're more likely to have allergies to specific types of trees or grass or weeds if that is true of one of your parents. Yeah, no doubt about that.
Wow. And of course, we are continuing to give the vaccines, COVID vaccines. Now, you just don't walk in there and get the shot, however.
Glad you said that. Yeah. Go ahead. You can deal with that. I got to have an appointment.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you do have to have an appointment for several reasons, not the least of which is, they come in vials of 10 shots. You use it within 6 hours of opening it, or you throw it away and waste those doses. So we want to make sure we've got, we try to do 20 a day. We make sure we got those appointments filled up before we go into another day and crack another bottle and throw a lot of those away. So we try to fill up each day's 20 doses before we schedule another day and another day. So that's why it requires an appointment.
Who would have ever thought we'd be dealing with this in the pharmacy?
Sometimes people ask us, how come you can't do more than 20 a day? We're trying to run a pharmacy here as well as get the COVID vaccine out to as many people as we can. But yes, who would have thought we're dealing with this? Hopefully now we're on the back end of dealing with this, and with more vaccine available for everybody who wants it, maybe we can stop talking about this for too much longer.
Yeah. By the way, I've got my first aid kit kind of
got that ready now?
Kind of working on it.
Hopefully you haven't had to use it yet.
I haven't so far, but I got it just in case. Thank you both for coming this morning.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Jacob from Marble City Pharmacy, our guest every month here on Daybreak Live. We got more to do right after you watch this.